We're back. We're doing the bullet climb. We're at 1800 so far. We'll see how far we can go. Maybe 1850. Doing 1+0 on Lichess. 1+0 on Lichess. Let's drop in. Okay, first opponent, Heat Seeker 3. Don't need both sounds. Okay, we'll play d4. Usual. Dance around with the queen a little. Those lines, often you have to play bishop here to avoid losing the center pawn. And honestly, given that I'm up a pawn now and my queen was in the center of the board, a likely target. Ooh, I'm a little rusty on the piece movement, but just want to get the queen out of the center so that there's no risk of me accidentally, blundering my queen or something crazy. But okay, already in this position, we're doing well. Bishop here to cover what will be the retreat square. There is potentially this idea of playing pawn forward, so forking maybe in some lines the queen and the bishop, so I'll retreat the queen. Now I actually am threatening something like pawn forward, which I think I will do. He can trade bishops, but at the end of this, interesting, he just gives up the piece. I don't think that's very strong. Now I can castle, get out of any of the funny business. My knight comes into a great square. Ooh, I don't know. That looks very scary. I think this is going to lead to mate. All right. Yeah, just too many lines. Too many lines against the opponent's king there. Gautam 1. Okay. Push to the center. Here I play a line. I often will do this. Just being pesky, making black have to commit to moves that are not ideal. This knight's placement is pretty bad. It blocks in the bishop, forces another move. I like that idea. I think I'll go for a pin first. I do not like that move for black, as it now doesn't allow black an easy castle to the side that I'm guessing black wanted to castle in. That's an interesting idea, just being pesky. Okay, find a place to put the queen. I think black's maneuvering here did allow for some interesting ideas, but now there are some weak squares. For instance, this pawn. If I first bump the knight, first of all, the knight doesn't even have a retreat, but even if it did move, this pawn might fall. Now, already there's these discovery ideas. There's a lot of ideas to do here. I'm going to start with this because I get this first. Then, ooh, this position is a little too wild for my taste. Yeah, I'm a little low on time. Gonna have to try to trade down now. Okay. Yep, it allows the queen to come in. And the knight comes here. Let's just take the queen here. Bishop. Take. Back. All right. Had to go for a bit of time crunch there, but I think I just had a bit of mismanagement on the time. Okay. Black is controlling the center very well. I quite like that idea. I think I just maybe play something like pawn here. There are some lines where I could have maybe lost a piece. I suspect this is an opening idea that white has either prepared or at least is familiar with. But that's a big concession. This square is now a big concession. And it will allow me to undouble my pawns if this knight were to be traded for. But that actually dropped a piece. And I'm debating whether or not I should do it. I think I will, and then pick up this pawn. Those light squares were very good for white, so taking out the light square bishop was very, very good. This knight's going to come back to this really dominant central square. It's going to force white to trade it off. But already here, I don't mind this. I can undouble my one pawn weakness, and then maybe follow it up with f5 to just lock down this side of the board. And now I'm in a much stronger positional game. Already, I think pawn forward, because we need to play a little bit energetically here. I don't want to give white an initiative. Bump, and then get the rook behind the central pawn. Maybe attack the rook. You can go rook down, was an idea. Okay. I really wanted to play pawn forward, didn't quite work. But you're just asking for trades. Okay. Ooh, he dropped the bishop. This is going to force a trade. Take the bishop. King takes. Yeah. Okay. Back to the name. Ivan Jaredov. We're going to play some of that like knight maneuver. Okay, so he decides not to take the center. To be a little bit non-committal, decide what white seems to have had a system in place where no matter what I was going to do, white was going to play the same combination. I want to see what white decides here. Interesting. Sort of dancing this light square bishop around. This removes the defender. Picks up the pawn. Threatening this pawn. I'm sure it can be defended somehow. Yeah, that's sufficient. Okay. Maybe I should have got on this pin earlier, because the bishop's not there to help. So this bishop pin's actually surprisingly annoying. And this doesn't quite work. But maybe I just need to go back and redecide what I want to do. I was thinking of going knight here. Maybe that's too... There isn't really a clear plan for what this knight's going to do. Maybe I should have taken with the knight as well, just to have gotten it off that square. It's a good move. And then rook here. And then... I mean, he's playing a lot of really interesting moves, I will say. But I think this position's now simplifying down. I still think this pawn is a weakness. And I'll find a way to try to pick it up. I think I found a way. Okay. Get the rook. All right. Yeah, tough game. Tough game. All right. This is my Mishek. This is Mishek. 1900. First person above 1900 for this rating climb. Interesting. The double fianchetto for black. Very non-committal. Very wait and see. Counterattack kind of sequence to go through. Interesting. If black really does want to go all in on that, this idea, it's making it much harder to be able to castle kingside. Yeah. So then maybe there's a way. I probably should have started with bishop first. Maybe knight now. This pawn is the threat. Yep. But moves like that are great for complicating the position, making my opponent have to think. I really want to get a knight to this square. I'm already going to bypass this trade since this knight looks great, but it's not really controlling key squares yet. And for this, I'm also going to wait. I could pick this up at some point with the bishop and go bishop takes pawn, but I'm wondering if there's better. Maybe I'll start with the pawn here move first. Okay. I'm trying to be provocative. And now trade down. Because this bishop getting into, say, this square will be amazing now that all these weaknesses are present. Okay. Knight takes. Now the knight comes out. Forking the bishop. I'll just pick it up because there are going to be mass trades. Then takes. Then maybe just bishop here. Okay, we pre-move that, which maybe... Oh! That was so lucky. Black totally could have just taken my queen. Yikes. All right. This is getting down to the wire. Okay. Just take the knight, so then I can take the advanced pawn. At this point, it doesn't matter. Yeah, had to go for time there, but my opponent was putting up really good defense. Not much else to say. Okay, Yassarian, 1830. All right, attack the bishop. Keep developing. This developing move can be quite annoying. I maybe should have actually just taken the knight. Darn. That would have been, I think, much better positionally. But that being said, I'm also doing fine. Just wanted to challenge the bishop, keep developing, maybe get the rook in, develop some space. I mean, this pawn structure is quite strong, and just look for ways to maybe continue to poke, maybe force the bishop back. And is it too early to maybe play this? That is an interesting move. Maybe I try queen here. I think I will lose a pawn, but that's definitely not the best way to have done it for black, because now... Oh! I put my queen on a square where it's falling. Oh my. Okay. Let's try just a few moves, since I imagine I'll probably be dropping this game real soon. But there maybe are some ideas. You know, this pawn is kind of weak. I can take it. And, you know, maybe there are some... Oh, that doesn't work. No, this game is just torched. Rule number 1 of playing in a middle game is you cannot lose your queen. Yikes. Okay, 1828. I think we've been overthinking some of these games. We're definitely going to get to this point, especially in bullet chess, where it won't be sufficient to have to win every game on the board. We do just have to keep in mind that if we consistently fall behind on the clock, we're not going to have any chance. So we'll try to balance that. I mean, the knight just was dropped in that last move. So maybe if we had thought a little bit longer, no. But this position's still great for black, especially having already forced the trade of bishops. Strengthens the position. And although after you take the pawn, is there maybe some weakness in the center? Well, actually, I think I can take this first. I think we're doing pretty well. I just need to find a way to get the bishop out of dodge. It looks like might be this move. Yep, and then just swing. Ugh. Come on. Okay. Let's try to make this complicated. Yep, take. Trade rooks. I mean, we only have 2 pawns. We're down we have 2 pawns for the piece. Let's take this to an endgame. My opponent says no. Okay, what if I play like this, and then queen here? The knight can't move because there are these ideas. Take, queen here, queen back. Oh, there were lots of ideas there. All right, some games you just have to win on time, especially when you drop a piece. I think at least that position was not like losing a queen. That position was like, yeah, I'm down a piece for a few pawns, and at least it was a fighter's chance. Okay, we just want to stabilize. Also give the light square bishop a move to, or a square to retreat if it's so needed. Okay, this pin is going to be pretty annoying for black. It's not a pin, but this position, I mean, is going to be annoying. Because to have to retreat the knight like this, you can't play pawn forward. Black's had to sort of curl up a little bit, and even already in doing that, this doesn't really, yeah, I think already this is good time to go in. Now there's a few ideas, but I actually kind of like getting the bishop back on this line, because now we have the option of going queen check in some of these lines, but also knight here to threaten mate, and that was not defended. Okay. So we'll keep going. 1906. Again, we'll play a little bit slow with the knight, and then look to trade towards the center, just build up a nice solid pawn structure. Already, white's just electing to go in for some trades. Don't really see the appeal of that. Let's go in for this pin. It opens up the line of maybe getting the rook here, so we can now decide what we want to do. Develop the queen. I don't want to allow, yeah, that pawn move would have been more annoying. I think just castle now. And then double rooks. Force white to have to make a committal move like that pawn move. I think we take, because this is going to be a very committal pawn move to have to decide to do. And now, we've got to get our pieces in the game. I'm going to go back. Right here. I've got to start figuring out a way to get a better piece in this, or another piece in the attack. So maybe we develop the knight. This also covers this square. And then pawn here to here looks good. Here, maybe we take this way. Opening up this file, although there's not really much going on this file as of yet. Wow. Okay, king over to avoid a queen check here. Oh, but then that's allowing this, and I think I can even start going crazy. Pawn forward to think about queen takes pawn, ideas. Okay, queen up. Pawn up. Bishop blocks. We're going to have to give that guy up. And look for, what are we looking for? Ideas. We want ideas. And in the end, we didn't need anything too complicated. I think there I was struggling to break through and sort of devote the time to breaking through, and it became more of a scramble ending, but in a better position at least. Okay, white wants the trade of the bishops. I don't mind that, since it will open up a lane of attack onto the king. White sort of has to accept that here. I don't really think you can make this many moves with the bishop. It gives me an advantage to develop my pieces more towards the center. Okay, so now we pin with the threat of maybe removing a defender if the queen tries to get out somehow. Okay, here already actually there is this idea of remove the defender and then pick up the knight, and you can't play pawn forward. And even in this, I don't love it, because there is just, again, one fewer defender around the king. And here, this looks terrifying. If I just threaten the queen check first, it will be defended. It was not defended. Wow. Okay. Well, that's 1850. Messier video this time, but I mean, we expect it's going to be harder as we move up. So, got to 1850. Thanks for watching.